What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News. And this topic, I want to talk about the interview of Anthony Joshua that I just heard and listened to. Anthony Joshua was asked on his toughest fights. The fighters that he's fought, the fighter that he's about to face, how does he rank them? And, he put Klitschko above all of them, of course, because, Klitschko had the marquee name. He absolutely gave him a war. And then Joseph Parker was the fast Samoan that was unbeaten, the champion, WBO champion, that was a threat, and everyone, thought like, hey, Joseph Parker is a fast guy. He's never been dropped to the canvas as of that time, and I think you need to challenge yourself with him. And Povetkin, a guy that he's going to face, he only has one loss, and that was to Klitschko. So, I don't believe in triangle theory. So I still think that is a fight that will be pretty good because, Alexander Povetkin is a hooker. He's had a lot of knockouts. He's been in there. He has a great resume. He's knocked out Hassan Rahman. I remember seeing that fight. He pretty much threw that hook on him and got inside. And of course, Rahman was older at this point. You know what I'm saying? But he has a pretty good resume, and I think Alexander Povetkin is a guy that is a question mark for Anthony Joshua. So he's the toughest guy that I think he can fight. Because he's already beat Brazil and guys like that. I just like wild card fights. I like fights that are out of the box. I like fights like Canelo and Lara, because that fight didn't really need to happen, I can't say didn't need to happen. That fight didn't need to happen. You know what I mean? It wasn't necessary for that fight to ever took place. It just Canelo got bothered by the things Lara said, and therefore that fight happened. Okay, so I would like to see him fight someone like Ortiz, someone that he was in talks of talking about fighting before it never happened. You know what I mean? Of course, Povetkin was, involved in the drug scandal and things like that. And I'm gonna say this about the PEDs and the PED use and the banned substances. Look, they're banned substances, performance enhancing drugs. Yeah, they give you an edge, but they don't necessarily guarantee you a win in a fight. They don't. You know what I'm saying? Ask Fernando Vargas about that. Ask a lot of fighters about that. They got in there juiced up or with, under the influence of something. And they got their ass beat. They got beat up. Fernando Vargas, yeah, he came in ripped up. He looked good and strong, but he looked good and strong anyway. He didn't even necessarily need to cheat, but he felt he needed that edge. That's what drugs does. They affect the way your mind and body works. They make you think that you need them, to do your normal activities, which you don't. And it's sad to say, but you don't. So, David Benavidez, you know what I mean? He was a guy that got popped for coke. He had cocaine in his system. There's a lot of guys that had cocaine in their system. That's a banned substance. That's not a performance enhancing drug. Not to say it probably couldn't give you an edge because it is a stimulant, right? But at the end of the day, I think he was just trying to party. I don't think that should be labeled as juicing. You know what I'm saying? I think those should be two different categories. I look at that like a sex offender. You know what I mean? You got the true hard pedophile, a motherfucker that should be chopped up and fed to the pigs, versus someone that took a piss at a children's playground at night and got busted, and that's and he's labeled as a sex offender. You know what I mean? So yeah, you got two different situations and two different examples of what how a person looks at that banned substance versus a performance enhancing drug. You know what I mean? Yeah, Benavidez is just trying to get high. I think he should really just chill. I don't know. He might have a problem, because if you find traces of a cocaine still in your system when you're trying to train, I don't even know. I think he was in the clean boxing program and they randomly popped him. I don't know all the facts. So, but those things happen. But as far as Povetkin, this guy, he got popped at two different times. Okay. But so did Canelo. So, you know what I mean? So you're looking at it like, all right, well, you got all these guys. but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to win you the fight. Okay, so Joshua put him in there, and they asked him, well, hey, can this guy, is a guy a threat to you? Are you overlooking him? He's like, no, I'm not overlooking him. This is a heavyweight fight, it's heavyweights, anything can happen in the heavyweights. One punch can solve it all. And I like that. You got to respect that. He said, I seriously doubt it, so he's not putting himself down, but at the same time, he's being realistic about what happens. I like somebody that's going to speak realistically and try to look at things rationally. You know what I mean? I'm about rationality, so anyone that talks with some sense at any time, you could be talking crazy and get your shit together. You know what I mean? Start talking some sense. I'm gonna give you props, especially on this channel and everywhere else. On the Facebook, we have debates on Facebook. Because I have the Counterpunch Boxing News Facebook page there. And you got other pages like Boxing Connected and Ring IQ, and you know what I mean. You have a lot of those boxing Facebook pages there, and then there's a lot of people in there that like to speak their mind about boxing. So those are some of the things that come up, during that. But Anthony Joshua, he is just now becoming vocal and starting to do interviews as of like early last week, which was a good idea, because you know what I mean. He's knee deep in training. You see, he ain't shaved in a while, which is a good sign. That means he ain't worried about looking good, because he's in training, trying to get himself together, and he looked good on those pads. He looked fast and he looked quick. But I gotta add this: had he came out, because when Wilder and Fury, where they were doing their thing about 3 weeks ago, and saying, oh, he's scared, he's a coward, that the public has to make this fight happen. When they were saying all that, and I'll be the one to admit, I was the one like, man, Anthony Joshua, you got to say something. You know what I'm saying? You got to be more vocal. You have to respond to this. So, now if you look back at it in hindsight, it's a good idea that he didn't, because see, had he would only contradict himself, because, his thing is, he said before, I don't want my training camp interrupted, right? So if he had came out to make a statement, or showed up at that fight like I wanted him to, me of many wanted him to, that would have disrupted and totally contradicted what he was saying, what he wanted before. You know what I'm saying? You can't say, hey, I wanted peace and quiet during my training camp, and then get out of training camp and say, hey, yeah, this is what it is, and I'm here now, and make a spectacle or whatever, just to be known, just to respond to something someone said. So I get it, you know what I mean? But I guess, and I conclude with this, that's about being the A side, not having to respond when a person wants you to. It's responding when you feel and you have the time comfortably to respond. That's one of the things of the A side, a person that knows that he has most of the cards in his favor. Okay. But but back to the main topic. Anthony Joshua, Klitschko, Joseph Parker, then Povetkin. So he said it would be probably the third hardest guy that he's fought, and he was able to go the distance with Takam and with Parker. So he proved that he can go the distance. So let's see how he looks this fight night, because, the talks of this fight is coming near. It will be Saturday on the Zone, on that network, on that app. So, you guys make sure you download that app. I'll have the link in the description box, so whoever wants to check it out and download it, it's like $10 a month or whatever, and it has a lot of content on that. You know what I mean? And I got it, and the first month's free. So, you know what I mean? There you go. But you get a chance to watch all that boxing, and not just Anthony Joshua, those Eddie Hearn cards that you wanted to see. So, because again, it has a lot of content on there. There's more than just boxing. So people want to check out stuff, other sports. It's there too. UFC is there too. So, it looks good. So I can't wait to the fight. I want to see what Povetkin does bring to the table at 39 years of age, because he just turned 39. You know what I mean? He is a hooker. And then a lot of questions will be answered. Will he be able to get inside of Anthony Joshua and rip those hooks, because I think that's the only way that he has to win. You know, getting inside, you know, and hooking with Anthony Joshua, something that Parker tried to do, but didn't do it enough. You know what I mean? And then plus I feel that the referee was trying to break them up too much. And because the referee can destroy a good fight. You know, sometimes you have to have enough experience as a referee to let people fight out the clinch, you know, especially if they got one, you know, they're able to unlock themselves if they're able to lock themselves, okay? So just, you know, I want to put that out there too. So I am interested on how this fight will go down, you know, who will be the victor. Can Anthony Joshua do it again? Will, you know, Povetkin, will he spoil the plans of a possible super fight with whoever, you know? But anyway, you guys tell me what you think about this particular lineup. Please subscribe, and you guys been counterpunched. Peace.